across many different occupations, as well as at different age groups. And we will need to do so even more in order to bring women in. Because if our men are, not likely to put themselves forward, then our women are even less likely to do so.
Mrs. Teo acknowledged that while more women are indeed open to politics, many others still prefer to contribute in other ways, such as volunteering. But the two may not be so different.
I think Singapore is very unique. Politics is very much about service, and that service ethos permeates the way we think about, how we organize ourselves, and we hope that the women who see us in action can see themselves as being part of it.
Eunice Wong is one woman who's giving back. The activist of 5 years is a case writer at Meet the People sessions at her constituency of McPherson. She says she was inspired to contribute after receiving help herself.
Satisfaction that we get at the end of the day, where we see residents or our own fellow neighbours getting help. So I think it's about just bringing that strength of women in the community, and also as a whole over at the HQ sector today that you see, there's just so many women volunteering their time.
Aside from celebrating International Women's Day, the Women's Wing also got to engage Singapore leaders on Budget 2019 initiatives in a closed-door dialogue.
Second Minister for Education and Finance Indrani Raja says schools can take the lead to identify students who might need a leg up. It can also link them up to the help they need. She sat down with my colleague to discuss social inequality in Singapore and what her multi-agency task force Uplift can do to level the playing field.
There have been recent initiatives you announced at Uplift, and so how effective do you think these initiatives are, given that they are largely enhancements to what's already in place?
The purpose of Uplift was very specific. It recognizes that there are many things already in place, but from the feedback that we got from the engagements with people who are at the front line is that there are gaps. The gaps include coordination. What would be very helpful is when the schools or the ministry looking at a particular precinct can identify which are the ones in the nearby schools who may be in need of assistance and who don't have a school-based program, link them up with the volunteer group. That is the gap that is currently there, and it's gaps like that we want to plug.
You've also setting up the Uplift Program Office within MOE, and so this actually sets the assumption that the first touch point is in school. Do you think this is a good enough way to address a student's holistic needs?
The school is the one which is able to pick up when the child is not doing well. And once you see that the child's not doing well, you have to ask yourself, what are the reasons? Somehow you have to find a way to reach the parents and then do the connecting to the relevant help and assistance.
Now let's move on to what's next for all these disadvantaged students. How else can we support them when they find gainful employment outside?
I had a case at my Meet the People session the other evening where the parents came to see me. The child has been suffering from long-term absenteeism, has not been able to go to school, but the reason is primarily because the parents don't have a place to stay. So their appeal was to HDB to get a rental flat so that they can get a place near school and the child can go to school. So you can see how that different factors and components, but if we can get those things right and get the child settled, make sure that the child does well and is emotionally supported, then that's their best chance of progressing, getting a good job and doing well in life.
We have seen a cutback on academic rigor, on cutback on academic grades, but at the same time we noticed that government agencies actually do still require applicants to submit PSLE grades at O-level grades in the application forms.
Well, you have to see things in perspective and in balance. What we've done is we have cut down on the excessive emphasis on academic grades, and we have stepped up on the fact that skills are needed. But you cannot do away with the need for academic grades completely, and we should also look at the skill sets. And in cases where people already have working experience, I think it's very important to have regard to what their work experience is and to see whether that is relevant or not.
Coming up on News 5, this year's Safra Singapore Bay Run and Army Half Marathon has been called off. Plus, nearly 80 people in Johor received medical treatment after inhaling poisonous gas. Details when we come back.